Hello Aquarius, welcome to your monthly reading. This is for July 2025. I'm going to use one deck to look back at June. When we connected, you had some kind of tightness that you were experiencing in an area of your life. It could have been physical, wallet, tongue, however it was displaying for you. And also breaking the silence with a connection. And see what you did there. And then we'll use two decks and some charms to look ahead at July. So I have timestamp below if you want to skip ahead. Otherwise, we'll get into the process of getting a cards. So we're going to look back at we're going to look back at June and see how you did there. Okay. Oh, wonder if you broke the silence, if that was your situation, or have you recovered well from the tightness that you've been experiencing? Okay, so now we'll look ahead here to July, get some cards. So I have been sharing within the other readings that for whatever reason, I'm kind of doing, or I fell into a bit of a 7-card spread with 3 for the month before and 4 for the month coming up. And then I've been kind of multiplying it by 2 because I'm going over this area twice with cards, so that's 7 times 2. And then July is the 7th month. 7 has also come up as a number featured on some of the cards as well. So there's this push here from the angels energetically about July being a lucky month. I'm guessing for all signs, it's an opportunistic month for all of us here. I guess it's up to us how we tap into it. Do we tap into it? Or do we just sit by and let the month pass us by here? Okay. And now we'll do the charms. We'll see what few charms the angels want to put on each card, or group of cards, I should say. This is just for their clarity, with their message. I'm just hovering here because I do feel movement, so I'm not going to move until... Okay, maybe they need to get some other charms out of the way, so I'll go around and then I'll come back to that card. My hand's been shaking since I've sat down to do your reading, so I don't know if that's for whatever reason, you guys are spiking here, Aquarius, with nervous energy, anxiety. I don't know if May, June were sort of that tightness, right? Stressful months for you. Movement there, and we'll come back to this card here. I don't know if you can see my hand shaking on camera. I don't usually shake this bad, so just letting the charms fall, and then I'll see if I can get over my shake here. Okay. Just fixing up the charms lets me kind of tune in, get a sense of the message. I'm pausing because here's that relationship. Here's that breaking the silence. So you didn't do it. Those of you who had to, if you thought you did, you didn't. Because here it is here. Forgiveness, breaking the standstill between a major connection here. I don't know what's going on between the two of you, I feel like it's here also. Kind of this, the wolf is screaming, but the turtle is silent. And it's this love connection. July is a lucky month, as I started out with. So if you are going to break the silence, luck is in your favor. Angels are saying luck's in your favor to do it this month. You need that little push of courage there. Bit of creating your world, changes in your environment. Okay. So Aquarius, let's look back at June and let's see, how you're doing with that tightness, whether it was a physical symptom, or like I said, tight-lipped, tight wallet, any of those kind of sayings or situations. And then breaking the silence. But like I said in the intro, does not look like you broke the silence at all, or a very small attempt at least. Yeah, look at the size of the attempt here. Look how tiny. Like you may have said hello to them, but I don't think you actually talked about anything. The issue is kind of sitting here under all the leaves that you're sitting on, and you're not even talking. So I do have this sensation of like you cross paths with this person very briefly, this connection very briefly in June, but nothing was dealt with, nothing was said. They're just kind of staring at each other here. So I don't know if you had that. I don't know if you went to see someone and they just kind of stared at you, or you felt like they were giving you some kind of quiet or cold energy. It's still shaky. I don't know if you can see that. Okay. Maybe you're just really nervous in June. Maybe that's why I'm shaking. So we do have changes here in the home environment, right? She's sitting in her dwelling here, and she's kind of creating her potions and kind of sitting at home and making some change. So I don't know if you're doing some light changes at home. Staying home because of that tightness, right? I was checking in on the tightness here and kind of healing. There's healing all around her, but not on her. So I think you're still going through whatever this healing process is. To see how she's holding herself tight as well. So I think you probably still struggled with that throughout the month. They're bringing me to the sleeping, so kind of sleeping a lot or just no energy. So when you did have time to yourself, you may have given in to laying, relaxing, sitting, right? She's sitting and she's just kind of doing the bare minimum here. I don't really see healing. There's no healing happening. I don't think you received full relief from whatever this tightness is. Even if it was tightness in the body and you got some kind of chiropractic, or maybe even a massage treatment, kind of pulling me into the oils here, it was just temporary relief. Because like I said, she's still in her pink here, soft pink. The healing hasn't really touched her yet. Okay, so not much of a change in June. Hopefully an Aquarius in your life and you can bring them into the readings, see if they can start taking some action here, because Aquarius did not accomplish at least what the angels had asked them to focus on here in June. Okay. Starting off in July, based on what I was saying in the intro here, here's that connection, this important person in your life, important connection. This is someone who knows you well, someone who should stay in your life, someone who loves you, helps you, a positive relation, positive connection, but you're at a standstill, and there's apology, forgiveness, gratitude, coming in with the flower, a thank you, to kind of break this standstill. I can't remember if I used these cards, but I feel like the steadfastness, the way that they're standing here, I think that represents the person, and I think that's what I saw in June for you to help describe who this person is. It is someone more senior to you, someone you probably look up to or have looked up to. So this is a parent, a grandparent, a manager, a mentor, a teacher if you're going through your academic journey. you know, they're pulling me into his coat, and I was hearing the magical Technicolor raincoat, right? So, you know, maybe you see this person also as someone who's like got it all, has it all. You know, they've got a strong foundation. So there might be some envy here that's causing this situation, or sort of sitting in that space. And then here they are kind of in their dwelling. Look at the anger here coming off of them. And you're avoiding, you're just kind of walking away here. You're not heading in to say hi to them. And I think that's what they're fuming here, right? It's almost like the expectation is that you would stop in and say hi, but you're just kind of like passing by. Or again, if you did visit, right? We saw this in June. If you did cross paths with this person, or spend some time with them, like I said, nothing was said. You know, maybe it was purposely brief. You just kind of came in and went. But the apology, the returning of something, the gift, it didn't happen. So in July, you know, that's kind of setting expectations here, right? You know, if you are going to go see this person, or like I said, if you do cross their paths, you can't just talk about nothing anymore like you did in June. You're going to have to bring in this apology, this gratitude, you know, this thank you. Maybe it's not sorry, but maybe it's thank you that you need to say, right, with the teddy bear here. And if you don't, you know, you're not resolving anything with this person. So in July, you know, try to make a point of visiting them and actually talking about things. I'm coming across because these three charms say the same thing, essentially. So we have someone that is like a source of wisdom, you know, a wise old one. So we have that seniority again, that wisdom, right? That mentor, that parent. We have, you know, things not being said, or a lot of frustration, aggression, you know, the howling here. And it's, you know, related to this relationship here, you know, their relationship with you. So, you know, they're feeling the same as you, or maybe this is how they're feeling and you don't realize it. You know, both of the wildcats here, the fox and the tiger, they're smiling as they walk away. They seem oblivious of how upset this king is back here. So then the angels are bringing in their stop sign here. This is their put a pause to things, yield, and they're pairing it with I choose strength. So I don't know if this is them saying, like, I don't know if this is not resolved because you're being stubborn. I'd hate to say it, but, you know, they want you to stop with this kind of coming back to this power and authority message that was written on the card here, right? That I choose strength. They want you to stop with this level of kind of stance that you have. You know, you got to come in softer, gentler, open-minded, right? We had the, you know, the soft teddy bear with the flower. That's kind of how you need to come in to break off this standstill, you know, this offering. Okay. So there's this desire for balancing the scales here. You know, this person here, this individual. So I don't know if money is the matter. I don't know if I said that in June. Money matters. You know, he's the acrobat is coming in to collect the tips here, right? He's bringing his bowls, his hat around to the audience that's been watching, right? So he's kind of coming in and with the scales here, wondering if, you know, payment. You know, do you have my payment? But I mean, the payment could be the gratitude, the thank you, right? That fills the buckets up as well. So you've kind of depleted, and maybe it's both. You know, maybe you have not provided the gratitude and you have not provided the repayment. It is on your heart, your mind, your gut. You know what needs to be done. You know what's right. That's what this message is saying. You do see the situation the way it is. You feel it in your heart. You feel it in your gut. You know why you have this kind of coldness, this kind of distance right now. And it's continuing into July here with this person, but you can resolve it, right? You know how to resolve it, as it shows in this card, and you can resolve it, right? Are you going to kind of put your personal opinion aside in this matter and just kind of focus in on a more positive, getting your relationship here back into a more positive position in the month of July? Fresh in the morning, and my throat got a little scratchy there. So Aquarius, you might be an emotional individual. So me just saying that may have choked you up a little bit. You may have caught yourself. I'm going to put the elephant here because that's kind of where he was in the cards. So the elephant here is, determination. The way he's walking forward here, kind of focused, very isolated on his world in July. So again, if you're ignoring this situation, it's because you're purposely just focusing in on your own world. I'm feeling a little bit of selfishness here because there's avoidance here, right? If you're purposely distracting yourself by just focusing on your world and kind of this to-do list. It's weird that I'm getting this with this charm. I usually don't. This is usually my creativity charm. And maybe that's what they want. You're so determined here, but they want you to, take it easy a little bit on yourself. You are the master of your world. You are able to create your world the way you want. But there's a lot of heated emotion here. Maybe that's the tightness, because I feel like my body is just like on the inside, right now. Like I just want to. The only way the energy wants to come out is with making the fist. Maybe that's why my hands were shaking, because the energy just wants to come out like this. You're just so angry about things, frustrated about things. The wolf. You just want to yell. Okay. I like the message, take a step back, right? With the creativity. You've been so determined and just kind of forging ahead like a bull. I think if I had a bull charm, they probably would have pulled out the bull charm here. But they just want you to, take a pause. In June, we saw you resting. That's not really a pause when you just kind of give in to low energy. You're not focused on a recovery pause. You're focused more on a depressive state pause. But he wants you to come back. Your guardian angel here is pulling you back to your center, pulling you back to your intuition. Just take a moment, between this break between June and July, right? The transition. So just take a mini break here in July and just kind of think, what's next on my to-do list? Maybe that's why I was calling this a to-do list for the first time ever. He wants you to just kind of step back and let's devise the plan here. Maybe you even need a plan of action for approaching this individual. I'm pausing because they're throwing a whole bunch of sayings at me here with this card. So like all about vulnerability. Wearing your heart on your sleeve. You're opening your chest, full transparency here. You're just kind of letting it all out. You're just almost venting here. You're just letting it all out. But if we go back to the card here, right? He's zipped up, right? He's not He's not open, right? He's zipped up. He wants you to whoa, don't head into this space, or don't continue to sit in this space. And maybe that's the to-do list here. Maybe you're trying to tackle 14 different things all at once that you think need to get done all at once, like this overwhelming of yourself. And then what happens when we get overwhelmed? We go into this state, we go into this state, we go into this state, right? The immobility, the standstill. So Aquarius, you have the determined spirit. You're a determined person that can get things done, but there's focus here. Make your list, make your priority list, and just conquer one at a time. Otherwise, it will feel like you're overwhelmed here, right? You're just ripped apart, essentially. And we don't want you feeling like that in July. Coming into the next group of messages here, it's nice to see that we're ending off on the cheerleader. They're celebrating. This is your angels, your family members on the other side that have crossed over already. There's this celebration in July for you. Oh, I didn't even realize 2 cards. Okay. Like celebrating, because I kind of put her down and they pulled me into the elephant here. So they're like celebrating your ability, right? To still embrace your determination, that aspect of you, the doer. You get things done, but get things done in order. Get things done in order. And they celebrate you for doing that. The wine bottle here is about lack of direction. So again, sort of this priority list. Maybe you're starting something, you're spinning around, you see something, then you go over there and work on that. Then you see something, and you're like, oh, I forgot about that. You go over there. So, 101 things in motion, but nothing completed. Right? You see that there. And maybe that's maybe that's how your world has been feeling, right? 101 things done, nothing's getting done though. 101 things to do, nothing's getting completely done. But in July, you can turn that around. July is opportunity to plan and tackle that plan. Then we have here some commitments that are coming up in July. Things you already know you have to appear at. That's what the brush is here for. People you're gonna be seen. You're showing up. So you have some commitments here in July that you're showing up for. Maybe that's why there's this sense of running around. But sense of achievement if you can just get your bottle steady here. Okay. Well, on the first card here, right? Ignore ignore this distraction. The 101 things happening here, and bypass that. Work on the one thing. You're kind of placing them in order. So you've chosen this flower first, and then you'll start heading down and tackling the leaves here, right? They're drawing me up to the pricked finger here. And I got the saying, like, put your finger on it. I don't know if we're coming back to this relationship where you're going to be able to, like, put your finger on it. You're going to have that aha moment. Aha, I know what to do, right? The plan here. Maybe that's the celebration, celebrating that you're, that you got there, you got to the point where you're able to put your finger on it. And it is dripping blood, so I don't know if there's a blood relation, or like I said, that connection to you runs that deep, right? Best friend energy kind of thing. Well, look what they want you to do. Keep healing. You haven't healed yet. Oh, there we go. So there is opportunity here, right, for your July to end on this beautiful reconnection. You're healed, they're healing. You're slowly coming back together. These cards also in the other context of the commitments coming up, right? Those are going to be therapeutic for you, It's taking you out of your home. It's taking your mind off of all these things. We saw that here, right? You're bypassing, you're going to hang out. So you're not focused on your to-do list so much. And there's healing here. You know, it's therapeutic. The therapeutic energy that you'll pick up from these few social commitments that you have here. You know, maybe it's the fact that you're outside. They're kind of drawing me into the swirling of the kind of air movement here with the sunshine. Or that could be their aura, the people that you're hanging out with. They just have really good, strong auras, positive auras. So also with those commitments, make sure you're choosing the people that make you smile, make you laugh, right? Make you jump around, jump for joy. So I'm glad we ended here because, you know, looking back at June was a bit daunting, seeing that not really any progress was made in terms of healing and moving forward. And then sort of the heads up here of all of this saying, you kind of know what's right. You know, you're going to put your finger on it. You're going to make your plan and you're going to enjoy some commitments in July. So if anything, I think, you know, like I was saying, by the end of July, there's going to be some celebration. That could even be you, right? Celebrating, I made it through and I did conquer. You know, I used these 31 days and I conquered. So let's look at August when we connect back next month.